Today we're going to make angel food cake, and angel food cake is an American classic. People love it. It's white, it's fluffy, it's light, it's delicious. Summer's coming, it's great for summer. The trick of it though is you really have to beat the egg whites properly because there's no other leavening in the cake. You have a cup of cake flour that's already been sifted. I've already sifted this cake flour. You put it in the strainer along with 3/4 of a cup of sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so kind of mix it up a little bit and you sift it. The tricky thing here is you have to sift the cake flour 3 times to make sure it's really light and fluffy so that it will blend properly and easily with the egg whites and not weigh them down. Okay, so for the egg whites, you have 1.5 cups of cold egg whites, which is approximately 12 eggs. We have a tablespoon of lemon juice, and now we have a tablespoon of water, and we have a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And the final ingredient that we're adding to the egg whites is a teaspoon and 1/4 of vanilla extract in there. All right, you turn the mixer on low and you beat it for about 2 minutes. After the mixture has beaten on low speed for 2 minutes, you turn it up to medium, and what you do then is you just wait for, it's between 1 and 3 minutes, but what you want is for the volume to increase by 4 to 5 times. As it's mixing along and it's just about ready to add the sugar, this is how it's supposed to look. So now we add the sugar a tablespoon at a time. It's very, very slowly. So you add 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. The other way you can do it, you can sort of drizzle it in, which is how I prefer to do it. And this is 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And when all the sugar is added, which is about now, you turn off the mixer and you check and you see what these egg white peaks are like. So you want them to be, yeah, just like that. To see how they fall over? That's what you want. You don't want them to be stiff. Okay, so at that point, what you do is you take the egg whites and you're gonna fold the flour mixture into them. And here's how you do it. This bowl is much too small for good folding. You want a bigger bowl. So, very gently, because you don't want to deflate the whites. This is our flour, sugar, salt mixture. We're gonna take approximately 1/8 of it, and we're gonna make a thin, delicate layer over the top, and we're gonna fold that in. And the way you fold is you make, they talk about making J's with the spatula. So you're making a J, do you see how it's a J? You make a J, and every time you make a J, you turn the bowl a bit. So you're folding in a different part of the flour. After you make a few J's, then you go under the whole thing from the bottom. Then you go back to making the J's. And the point of this is that you really, really don't want to deflate these egg whites because it's the air in the egg whites that's going to make your cake rise. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have our pan, and the pan has to be absolutely clean. It's an ungreased pan, and you don't want any extra dirt or grease on it because that could interfere with the cake rising. Pour the cake into the pan. On this side, you want the top of the cake to be relatively smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want it to look like that. Okay, so you're smoothing it along. It's about to go now into the 350 oven. We're pulling out the cake. It's looking ready to me, but let's see. Yes, the skewer is completely clean. So what we do now is we take the cake out of the oven, and immediately what you do is you want to turn the cake upside down. I like to turn it upside down onto a funnel. I kind of find it's easier if you go like that. Then you just balance it, and you leave it there, and it usually, unfortunately, takes at least 1.5 hours to cool. Okay, so now we have our angel food cake. It's been cooling for a couple of hours on this funnel. You take some kind of a knife, it doesn't have to be as long as this, that you can go around the edge of the cake with. So you go around the outside. You now go around, if you can, you go around the center, which is not so easy. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is you lift this out of the pan. Take a spatula, just loosen the cake from the pan. Turn it over onto your hand, and then you turn it back over onto the cake plate. Okay, so there you've got a perfect angel food cake. If you have one of these, and I don't even know the name of it, but this particular old-fashioned utensil that used to be my mother's, what it's made for is slicing angel food and sponge cakes. And what you do, see, it doesn't push the cake down. So you go like that, you take another knife and run right alongside it, and you've got this perfect piece of cake. Look at that though, look how beautiful it is. White and perfect and fluffy. All right, if you don't have it, I find the next best thing is a serrated knife, and everybody has some kind of a serrated, like a bread knife. It's also just fine. So here we have another piece cut with a serrated knife. So let's see, what do we want? Maybe we'll have the first piece with some whipped cream. We have some strawberries. Maybe we'll put a few blackberries on it also. Now this one, what should we put on this one? Why don't we put a little whipped cream on this side? A little whipped cream on this side. Chocolate sauce, this is just sort of a fantasy. We could put a little chocolate sauce there, that looks good. And you can put a little strawberry sauce on the other side. There we go. All right, there it is, very pretty. But you could also serve that with lemon curd, you could serve it with ice cream, you could serve it with custard, you could serve it with a creme anglaise. I mean, angel food cake is just a perfect palette to put anything on. So there you go. Enjoy.